Hello everyone. I got two cameras that I'm going to redo. The Nikon Z8 with the 85mm f1.2 and the Canon R5 II with the battery grip, which with the fan and dummy battery connected to the Anchor power bank right here with the 85 1.2. So you can see 85 right there. And I don't know if you can read it, but it's the 1.2. And of course the Nikon 85 1.2. Now, the last video I did make a mistake on the white balance and the picture profile. So, if I turn it on, okay, and I press I, the white balance is good. I got it on JPEG, SDR, and the picture profile is on neutral, okay? And if I go here to the menu, there you go. Now it's on neutral. All right. I don't know why. I think I did it in the movie mode instead of the camera mode. So it's a good thing I did check, but the white balance is correct. And just to show you, let's take a picture of that dog. There we go. Okay, I did that. Took a picture, and there you have it. Okay? And I'll show you the results after I'm done. But you can compare this image with this one. Now, there's Canon's a little bit bigger, so it looks a lot closer. But anyway, let's get this. And I'm also going to show you that if I go to the Q, automatic white balance, and it's on neutral, right down there, okay? Here, I know you can't see it, but let's go back to the Q, automatic white balance, and then neutral. I'm trying to get the gimbal to work, but anyway. And then if you take the picture, see? There's that. Sorry. There's that, and I'll show you the results. This is just to show you that I got it all set up the same. And there's a picture on that too. Okay? So anyway, ready for the shootout between these two bad boys. I'll take a lot of pictures and then we'll go in to take a look at the results. See you back in the studio. And here we are. Okay. On the left, the Canon R5 II and the RF85. I made a mistake right there. Yeah, the RF 85mm f1.2 and the Nikon Z8 and the Nikon Z 85mm f1.2. Left and right. Now, a little bit out of focus here, and the positions weren't the same, but close enough, okay? What you're looking at, and I can also, yeah, no, I'm not, well, yeah, I'm going to hide the sidebars. Okay, on that one, now I'm going to hide the sidebar on this one too. Make it a lot easier, okay? Now, if you increase it, unfortunately, I was out of focus right here on the Nikon. but still, yeah, it's not good representation, isn't it? And I think I was just a little bit too close, or I jerked a little bit too much on taking the picture. Let's go to the next one. Okay, there you have it. So there's close-ups there's the Canon f1.2, and then there's the Nikon. All right, you can see where it's out of focus, where I was focusing kind of like in between the eyes. But depending on where the hair, it looks sharp here. And I don't know, I think I might have been focusing on that or that. And of course, my little time clock. So you see, the pictures are looking a lot better on the Canon, all right, compared to the Nikon Z8. And it all depends on the positioning, but it looks sharper. If I go to the next picture, okay, you notice that the 85 1.2 trails off more on that lens than on the Canon. But you see, I could have been right here, and then it trails off here, and then I was focusing on here instead of over here. I was trying to do a middle background, and it looks like I got the one in the mirror, which seems like in the same plane, sharper than over here. So it's funny how this is looking, but you can see that the Sony is sharper. So I was focusing over here, but yet it's about the same there, but this is blurred here, but it's sharper here, it's blurred. And then of course, the only sharp part is right here on the lens. Everything else is blurred out. So I do say that the Nikon does blur a lot more, but I backed up. Now, look at the colors. I try to match them as best as possible. They're both on neutral. And I think the white balance, well, you do see different shades, okay? But look at the reds. So this is more of a purple. I mean, it is a red, but this is kind of like a candied apple red, all right? Try to match them. But which picture looks pleasing? I'm loving the colors on the R5 II, okay? And if I bring it closer, just for the sharp, since everything is sharp now. And then the same thing here. I think this is the only picture I got that was kind of the same. If you look at it, it's sharp here, but it blurs here. A little bit on the Canon, but more in the Canon is sharp than the Nikon. So the Nikon glass is a little bit more what I call characteristic. It blurs like a little bit here and then the back feet, a little bit on the back foot on the Canon, and then on the tail. So the tail and this back, it's more blurry right here on the Nikon, where it's sharp here. It's even blurry back there. So the Canon is a little bit sharper at the 1.2. And if you look at the dust, you can see why. If you can see the dust pretty much with the R5 II, 85 millimeter, compared to the Nikon, you can still see it, but it's not as noticeable as it is on this one. So the blacks are darker, and the bronze is more purple looking on the Nikon. And now I'm going to go to the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Combo. I'm charging it right now. There's not really that much of difference, but look at the board, which looks pleasing more to you. I was in a different position than this, but try to match it. And I was a little bit more to the left on here than I was over there. And if you notice, this looks almost perfectly clear and sharp. This might be a little bit off. So let's look at the, I was trying to do it on the button, but I got the joystick instead. But if I go over here to the Canon, all right, it looks sharper on the Canon. And the blacks are darker than over here. And I'm starting to see noise on the Nikon. And it may have been the angle that I was shooting it at, but it's close enough, okay? Same thing here. So, blurry, this part is sharp, this part is sharp. But you get a better representation of the subject, even if this is kind of getting blurred out. The Nikon is, if we go in here and just show where it's sharp, okay? There, but mainly right there, okay? And you can start seeing a little noise. I don't know if you can see it, but I can. And then if I go over to the Canon, I mean, you can see that this is a fake plant, the fabric that they used. Let's go to the same part. So I see it's blurry right here, but it's sharper right here, okay? This is the sharper part right here on the Nikon. And if I go all the way back, here. Yeah, I'll go back over here, match it. Okay. You can see it's more pleasing if you want the sharp. If you want bokeh, the Nikon, but let's try something else out. I mean, even the computer looks sharp, okay, on both. So it depends where it was focusing on. And I may have the focusing on a different subject detection, which I forgot to do. But let's go to the, well, come on. All right. Different wallpapers. But you'll notice that this looks sharper than this, but I think I was closer to here than I was over here. Okay. I was farther back. And that's the thing on me is like this picture is sharp. This is starting to get blurry right here to the right. But on this, since I backed up, camera is kind of blurry, but it's sharp here and sharp there. But if you look at the picture right here, blurry on the Canon, but sharp there. So the distance does matter. Okay. I and in a way you took it. So I moved. I couldn't tell you. It's just that I got down lower to take this, and I was up higher when I took that. Just a different position of the camera. This was higher. This was lower. So, and one thing I will say: any camera with any lens, anything reflective, like water, even looking at the sun or lights, um, you will see some problems with focusing. Okay. So let's go to another example. Went outside. Okay. sharp here, and then of course blurry here, but on the same plane, this is sharp. So it's sharp here. I think I was focusing on this, but then this starts being blurred out. And then the background is blurred out. And the front is blurred out on both pictures. And if you look at the back, so see, I try to match it as best as possible. But if you even look at the shade, see how each lens does the bokeh. So right here is where it's sharp, but I'm focusing on the background right here, okay? So you see, that was sharp, but which one looks better? So it's a better contrast on the Canon, all right? And I can make this a little bit bigger, I think. Make it like the same size. But you see, you can still see the difference of the sunlight, the leaves, and stuff like that. Whereas you can see just a hint of it on the Nikon, okay? I just want to point that out. It's really up to what you want to look at. Okay, I don't know what happened here. This might have gone a little bit too much. There we go. Okay. And yeah, you see, I didn't get the right one. So on the Canon, it's this one right here, what I'm looking on the Nikon. So I backed up and did these. I couldn't remember which one I was doing because I took one camera, did shots, and then I did all the follow shops on the other camera to follow it. But you see, even if you look at it, you can see some blurriness. It's sharp right here, and then it starts becoming blurry on the background. This leaf is kind of semi-focused, but it's kind of blurred. And then if you look over here, it's blurry here, but it's sharp there, and it's sharp here, but then it starts blurring. Okay? Just a different position. Okay, now this should match. Look at it. The Nikon is a little bit darker, so the white balance may be off just by 1, okay? This is brighter, but look at the darks and the contrast. Canon looks spectacular, okay? Nikon's not bad either, but what we want to look at is how the lens performance is. So it's blurry here, blurry there. Let's get a close-up, pixel peep, as you would say, for there. For there. Sharp, sharp, little bokeh here, little bokeh there. So these, if you look at it, really can't tell over here, but they do blur out the background pretty much. Both pictures are pleasing. One is lighter, one is darker. Okay. I hope that's a good example. That's the closest I've probably been with all the pictures I've took. And of course, the last one is the kids. Well, it's not the last one, but you see, it's brighter with the white balance on the Canon than it is on the Nikon. So you have a different kind of like darks and lights on the Nikon, where it's kind of like the same on the Canon. But I do love the sharpness. The blacks do look dark, but on the Nikon, this time it looks pleasing. But you see how dark it is in the front compared to the light. And if you notice that you can see the contrast with the clouds better on the Nikon, and you can on the Canon. And it has to do with the white balance, okay? You can notice a little color over here on the branch on the Nikon. Not much so, because it's kind of up on the exposure a little bit too much, bright. So let's go to the cat. One on the porch. One there with the Canon, okay? That's a pretty good shot. This was a little bit farther away, but look how sharp this is. So I really go for sharpness and then to a little blurry. This one right here, he was not looking at me, so when I took with the Canon. So it's sharp right here, but then everything blurs out, okay? There was a box around the cat. So let's do the last picture. Okay. So he just moved a little bit on the Nikon, but look at that. I was a little bit closer, and look how sharp he is. Okay. And then you can see the bokeh started going into effect. When you can take a look at the eyes and see the reflection, all right, that's pretty sharp. And then on the cat with the Nikon, now, like I said with this glass, it has a character to it, so there's more bokeh. I would have to probably, to match this, I would have to probably put this at 1.4. Okay. But notice how the Canon is sharper on the glass. I got it on the nose, but on the nose, not the eyes. Okay. Here I got the eyes. That's the only difference. That's why it's sharper here and it's sharper here. But you see, just a few inches back from his nose, it's blurred out. This is almost at the same plane. But you see, that's sharper than the eyes, which are back further. Here, I was on the eyes, and then everything in front blurred out. And then anything, see, this is sharp here. And it's sharp here too. So that's my take on it. Hope this was helpful. Um, Hope you can see the difference between different cameras and the different lenses. Um, I always learn something new when I use different lenses to take pictures. But there you have it. Canon R5 II with the RF 85 millimeter f1.2 and the Nikon Z8 with the Z85 millimeter or Nikon Z85 millimeter f1.2. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Bye, folks. Have a wonderful day.